You owe zakat if your total zakatable wealth reaches the nisab. Nisab is the minimum wealth threshold a Muslim must possess for 1 lunar year before zakat becomes obligatory. In 2026, it is calculated using the value of 87.48 grams of gold or 612.36 grams of silver, with the silver nisab being much lower and therefore making more people eligible for zakat. Nisab is the baseline amount of wealth you must own before zakat becomes fard. If your total zakat-able assets stay above the nisab for 1 full lunar year, you pay 2.5%. Most contemporary scholars recommend using the silver nisab because it allows more people to give zakat. It increases support for those in need. It aligns with the spirit of generosity in Islamic giving. However, some prefer the gold nisab for personal financial reasons. Both are valid. How to know if you owe zakat? You owe zakat if your zakat-able assets, cash, savings, gold, silver, investments, business stock, minus debts due within 12 months remain above the nisab for 1 lunar year. Then you pay 2.5% of the total. Here's the clear, Quran-based list of who can receive zakat, exactly as defined in Surah At-Tawbah. These 8 groups are known as Asnaf. Al-Fuqara, the poor, people with no income or extremely limited means. They cannot meet basic needs like food, rent, clothing, or bills. Al-Masakin, the needy. They have some income but still cannot cover essentials. Often struggling families, single parents, or low-income workers. Amilin alayha, zakat administrators. Those officially appointed to collect, manage, and distribute zakat. They can receive a wage from zakat funds. Mu'allafatu qulubuhum, those whose hearts are to be reconciled. New Muslims or individuals whose support help strengthen the Muslim community. Furikab, those in bondage. Historically, slaves seeking freedom. Al-Gharamin, people in debt. Those with halal debts they genuinely cannot repay. This includes people overwhelmed by medical bills, rent arrears, or essential living costs. Fi sabilillah, in the path of Allah. Traditionally, those striving for Allah's cause. Modern scholars include Islamic education projects, dawah work, humanitarian relief done for Allah's sake. Not general charity, must be clearly for Allah's cause. Ibn Asabil, the stranded traveler. A traveler who is cut off from their wealth and needs help returning home. Modern scholars extend this to people needing help to regain freedom. Who cannot receive zakat. To keep your zakat valid, avoid giving it to your parents, grandparents, your children or grandchildren, your spouse, non-Muslims, except Category 4, mosques for construction, unless under fi sabilillah with scholarly approval. Can you give zakat to your sister or brother? Yes. Your siblings can receive zakat if they fall into one of the eligible categories, poor, needy, in debt, etc. They are not from the people you are financially responsible for, so giving them zakat is valid. When it is allowed, you can give zakat to your brother or sister if they are struggling financially, unable to cover basic needs, in debt, single parents or low income, students with no income, unemployed, facing hardship. This is actually rewarded more, because you are helping family and fulfilling zakat. When it is not allowed, you cannot give zakat to a sibling if you are already responsible for their financial maintenance. Example, they live under your care and you must provide for them. They are wealthy or financially stable. You are giving it to benefit yourself indirectly. Example, they will use it to pay your debts. Here's the simplest, most reliable way to understand when to give zakat, without overcomplicating it. When should you give zakat? You give zakat once every lunar year, on the same date every year, as long as your wealth has stayed above the nisab for that entire year. This date is called your zakat anniversary. How to know your zakat date? You choose one date, usually the day you first owned wealth above the nisab, or a fixed Islamic date you stick to every year, e.g., first Ramadan. From that point, you pay zakat every 12 lunar months. Most people pay in Ramadan. Is that required? No, it's not required. But it's allowed, and many people choose Ramadan because rewards are multiplied. It's easier to remember. It aligns with spiritual routines. But if your zakat date is not in Ramadan, you should not delay until Ramadan unless the delay is very short and doesn't harm anyone. What if your wealth goes up and down during the year? Only 2 moments matter. When you first reach the nisab, 1 lunar year later. If on both dates you're above the nisab, you pay zakat, even if you dipped below in between. Zakat becomes due once every lunar year, on the same date you first reach the nisab. From that moment, you simply repeat the payment every 12 lunar months, as long as your wealth remains above the threshold on your zakat anniversary. Many people choose Ramadan for the extra reward, but the true requirement is consistency. Pay it as soon as your zakat date arrives, without unnecessary delay. Zakat is not just a calculation, it's a purification of wealth, a protection for the heart, and a direct support to those who need it most.